It smells like wet dog and unwashed sins in here. My left hip is currently throbbing against a splintered oak slat that's probably seen more buboes than a city surgeon. 1324. Terrible year for a road trip. Wait, actually, it's 1323. No, definitely 24. Doesn't matter. The wind is doing that high-pitched whistling thing through the gaps in the canvas. It's the kind of sound that starts to feel like a human scream once you've been awake for 30 hours. We're 4 miles from the London gates, maybe 5. The driver stopped talking an hour ago. He's just white-knuckling a rusted knife, staring at the tree line. Out there, the shadows have teeth, and they're hungry. Squelch. That's the soundtrack of 1324. Just endless, rhythmic mud sucking at the wheels. If you think a wagon is a romantic way to see the English countryside, you've clearly spent too much time looking at gilded manuscripts drawn by monks who never left their stone cells. This thing is a wooden box of misery. No springs, not a single one. Every rock we hit, and we're hitting all of them, believe me, sends a shock wave straight up my tailbone and into the base of my skull. It's like being punched by a ghost every 3 seconds. The Statute of Winchester. Ever heard of it? King Edward, the first one, the tall guy, decreed about 40 years ago that the sides of the King's Highway had to be cleared of bushes and trees for 200 feet. Why? So a man with a crossbow can't hide behind a shrub and turn your chest into a pincushion. Great law. Fantastic idea. Too bad nobody follows it. Out here, past the reach of the city watch, the hazel and hawthorn grow thick right up to the ruts. It's a green tunnel of death, perfect for a quick slit of the throat and a disappearance into the Weald. No one would find your body until the crows had picked your ribs clean. My traveling companions aren't helping the vibe. There's a friar in the corner who smells like sour ale and hasn't stopped mumbling Latin since we passed the last gallows back at the crossroads. Is he praying for us? Or just counting the silver he tucked into his boot? Probably both. Then there's a merchant's apprentice clutching a bundle of wool like it's a holy relic. He's shaking. Not because of the cold, though the damp is currently turning my toes into icicles, but because he knows what happens when the sun dips below that ridge. The sun is doing it now. It's that ugly, bruised shade of orange that means we have about 20 minutes of maybe we won't die left. The driver is whipping the horses harder. The poor beasts are foaming at the mouth, their breath coming out in ragged clouds of steam that look like ghosts in the twilight. Iron rims on the wheels are screeching against flint. It's loud. Too loud. You want to be quiet. You want to be a ghost. But this wagon is a giant, rattling dinner bell for every desperate soul hiding in the shadows with a rusted blade. My stomach is doing flips, and not because of the motion sickness. It's the silence from the trees that's the loudest thing out here. There are no birds. Just the creak of the wood and the heavy, wet thud of hooves. We're in the gap, the space between the safety of the last village and the locked gates of London. It's the most dangerous place in the world. The axle. God, the axle. It's a dry, metal-on-wood shriek that vibrates through your teeth. It's been screaming for the last 4 miles, a rhythmic scree-thud, scree-thud that feels like someone is dragging a rusty needle across the surface of my brain. I asked the driver, a man whose face looks like a map of every bad decision made in the 14th century, if he had any grease. He spat, a thick, gray glob that landed on the wheel rim. That was his answer. Grease is for the rich, or for the frying pan. Out here, we just let the friction burn. You don't sit in a wagon like this. You endure it. There are no springs, no suspension, just solid oak and iron rings hitting stones the size of a man's head. Every time we hit a rut, my kidneys play a game of leapfrog with my rib cage. And the smell? It's a bouquet of wet dog, unwashed wool, and the merchant's apprentice's sheer, unadulterated terror. He's sweating, despite the mist. It's that cold, oily sweat that comes from knowing you're carrying 3 months' worth of profit and only have a dull paring knife to defend it. Listen, do you hear that? Beyond the screeching wood? Nothing. That's the problem. The birds stopped about 5 minutes ago. In 1324, silence isn't peaceful. It's a tactical choice. It means something bigger than a sparrow is moving through the undergrowth. Maybe it's just a deer or a wolf. Honestly, I'd take a wolf. A wolf just wants your meat. A cotterell or a member of the Foleville gang? They want your boots, your rings, your life, and probably your clothes just to spite your corpse. These guys aren't the noble outlaws of the ballads. They don't give to the poor. They are the poor. Usually ex-soldiers who got discarded after the Scottish Wars and realized that the King's Highway is just a long, narrow buffet line. Wait, did the driver just slow down? He's pulling on the reins. Not a full stop, but a hesitation. My heart is hitting my ribs harder than the wagon ever could. He's looking at a fallen branch. Is it just a branch? Or is it a stopper? A classic trick. Block the road, wait for the wagon to halt, and then whoosh, arrows from the hazel thicket. Before I tell you if we get a crossbow bolt to the neck, do the thing. Hit subscribe. Stick around the Diary of Cole. It's a mess here, but at least we're alive. For now. The driver mutters a curse, something about the Virgin Mary and a goat, and whips the horses. We lurch. The merchant's apprentice lets out a small, pathetic whimper. We bounce over the branch with a soul-shattering crack. The wagon tilts. For a second, I'm sure we're tipping. I can see the mud rising up to meet me, black, thick, medieval soup that probably contains the plague and the tears of 1,000 peasants. We right ourselves. The horses are screaming now too. Why are we even doing this? Why travel at dusk? Because the inn at Seven Oaks was full, and the local lord was a prick who didn't want vagabonds on his land after dark. So here we are, exposed. The friar next to me finally speaks. Dominus vobiscum, he whispers. His breath smells like onions and old sin. He's clutching a wooden rosary so hard his knuckles are white. I look at his hands. They aren't the hands of a man who spends all day flipping pages in a scriptorium. They're calloused, heavy. There's a scar running across his thumb that looks suspiciously like a sword slip. You know how to use that? I ask, nodding at the heavy staff leaning against his shoulder. He doesn't look at me. The Lord provides strength to his servants. Right, and a heavy piece of ash wood helps the Lord's work, I bet. He gives me a look. It's not a holy look. It's the look of a man who has buried people. A lot of people. It's oddly comforting. If the bandits come, I'm hiding behind the priest. The road starts to narrow. This is the gap. It's a stretch where the bank rises up on both sides, creating a natural kill zone. If I were a bandit, and let's be honest, in this economy it's a tempting career path, this is where I'd do it. You don't even need a bow. Just drop a heavy rock from the ledge, smash the driver's skull, the horses panic, the wagon flips, and then it's just a matter of cleaning up the survivors. My hand goes to my belt. I have a bollock dagger. Yeah, that's actually what they called them. Don't look at me. I didn't name the 14th century. It's a cheap thing. Iron blade, hilt shaped like, well, use your imagination. It feels like a toothpick against the sheer weight of the darkness closing in. I can see the apprentice looking at me. He wants me to say something, something brave, something London. Hey, I whisper, don't scream. If they jump us, don't scream. It just makes them nervous. Nervous men stab faster. He turns a shade of green I've only ever seen on rotting cabbage. The wheels hit a patch of deep mud. We slow down. Scree thud. Scree thud. The wagon is groaning, the wood complaining under the weight of the wool bales. I can feel the humidity. It's sticking my tunic to my back, or maybe that's just the cold sweat. Every shadow is a man with a falchion. Every rustle of a leaf is a signal. I keep thinking about the statute of Winchester. 200 feet of cleared land, the king said. Edward I was a tough son of a bitch, but even he couldn't beat the English forest. The trees just grew back. They always grow back. They're reclaiming the road, reaching out with spindly fingers to pluck us off this rattling wooden box. The driver is standing up now, leaning forward. He's peering into the gloom. He's seen something. My stomach drops. It's that feeling you get right before a car crash, or when you realize you've forgotten your wallet, but amplified by the possibility of being disemboweled. Easy, the driver hisses. Not to us, to the horses. Up ahead, about 50 yards, there's a flicker. Light? No, a spark. Someone striking flint. It's tiny, a momentary orange prick in the oppressive gray. But it shouldn't be there. There are no houses here. No charcoal burners work this late. It's too close to the road. The friar's hand moves, not to his beads, to the staff. He shifts his weight, and suddenly he doesn't look like a bumbling monk anymore. He looks like a predator. Stay low, I tell the apprentice. I grab a handful of his wool bundle and pull him down toward the floorboards. The wood is cold and slimy. There's a gap between the planks where I can see the ground rushing by, a blur of wet gray and black. We're waiting for the shout. The "stand and deliver" wasn't a thing yet. That's later, flashier stuff. Here, it's just a grunt and a blow to the head. The wagon keeps rolling. Scree thud. My heart is a hammer. Scree thud. The spark is gone. The darkness is absolute. We pass the spot. I'm holding my breath so hard my lungs ache. I'm staring into the trees on the left, eyes wide, trying to see through the layers of oak and ivy. Nothing. Just the wind. Wait. There. A smell. Not mud, not wool. Smoke. A campfire, tucked back just far enough to be hidden, but the wind shifted. They're there. They're watching us. Why didn't they jump? Maybe we looked too poor. Maybe the friar's staff looked too much like a spear in the twilight. Or maybe they're waiting for the next wagon, the one with the real silver. We're past it. The driver doesn't relax. He actually hits the horses harder. The wagon leaps a violent jolt that sends the apprentice's head into the side of the frame with a dull thunk. He doesn't even cry out. He's too terrified to feel the pain. The road starts to tilt downward. We're out of the gap. The trees are thinning. In the distance, through the mist, there's a glow. Not a spark, but a wide, dull radiance. London. It's still miles away, but the horizon is changing. The greenwood is letting go.
I let out a breath I feel like I've been holding since we left Kent. My hands are shaking. I look at the friar. He's gone back to his mumbling. Ave Maria, gratia plena. Close one, I say. My voice sounds like sandpaper. The friar looks at me, just for a second. He smiles, and I notice he's missing 3 teeth on the left side. The night is long, traveler, and the gates don't stay open for latecomers.
He's right. If we don't make the bridge by curfew, we're stuck outside the walls. And the suburbs of London in 1324 make this forest look like a cathedral. I settle back against the wall. My back hurts, my head hurts. I'm damp, hungry, and I'm pretty sure there's a flea currently exploring my left armpit. Welcome to the Middle Ages. It's not a movie. It's just a very long, very loud, very scary ride in a box. Stop. Everything stops. The wagon doesn't just slow down, it dies. The front left wheel catches on something, a log, a dead cow, a trap, it doesn't matter. The jolt throws the friar into my lap. He smells like sour ale and pure, unadulterated panic. Out, the driver whispers. No, 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 not out. We're in the marshes now, Southwark, the literal armpit of England. The mud here is blacker than a sinner's soul and smells like 1,000 years of rot. That wasn't a twig. That was a bowstring snapping under tension. I see them, 3 of them, shadows against the gray-green mist. They aren't Robin Hood. They aren't dashing rogues. They're just skinny, skeletal, ribs showing through tunics caked in dried filth. One has a rusted billhook. Another has a knife that's mostly jagged iron and prayer. My pulse is a drum in my ears. Thump, 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 thump. Pay the toll, fat man, one says. His voice is a wet rasp, like he's been swallowing sand. The friar is shaking so hard his teeth are literally clattering. He fumbles with his robes. I'm reaching for my knife, the little one I hid in my boot. My fingers are numb. Why is it always so cold? The driver raises his whip, but his hand is a leaf in a gale. Move the log, the driver croaks. The skinny man with the billhook laughs. It sounds like coughing up broken glass. He steps closer. I can see his eyes now. They aren't evil. That's a fairy tale word. They're just empty. There's no humanity left when your stomach has been a hollow cave for a week. He reaches for the horse's bridle. Now. The apprentice screams. It's a high, shrill sound, the kind of sound a rabbit makes when the hawk hits. He throws a rock. It's a pathetic, wobbly throw. It hits the billhook guy in the shoulder. It shouldn't have worked, but it breaks the paralysis. The driver lashes the horses. Not a flick this time. A desperate, murderous strike. The horses scream, a sound that'll stay in my skull until I'm buried, and they lunge. The wagon lurches. I'm thrown back, my head hitting the frame. Stars. The friar's weight pins me down. Crunch. The wheel goes over something soft, something that makes a wet, snapping sound, something that screams. I don't look back. I can't. We're flying now. The wagon is shaking itself to pieces. It's going to disintegrate, I swear it. We're going way too fast for a dirt track in 1324. The mud is spraying up in geysers, coating my face, my eyes. It tastes like salt and iron. Is that blood? Or just the Thames? The lights, the bridge, it's right there. Shut up! I yell at the apprentice. He's still screaming. I think he's forgotten how to stop. I look at my hands. I'm gripping the side of the wagon so hard my fingernails have bitten into the wood. They're bleeding. We aren't dead. Not yet. But the gates are closing. I can see the heavy timber moving. Faster! I roar. Wait, was that another one on the road? No, just a shadow, I think. The gates groan. Iron teeth. We scrape through, wood splintering against stone, and then the smell. Tallow, open sewers, and the suffocating weight of 20,000 bodies packed into timber frames. The horses are shuddering, covered in white froth that looks like sea foam. I'm shaking too. My heart is a frantic bird in a rib cage. The friar is praying again, loudly. Shut up, man, we're in. But the mud on the wheels? That's not just mud. Don't think about the woods. The woods are honest. London? London is a labyrinth of shadows where a man will gut you for a copper button and call it business. If you want to see if we make it past the first tavern without a knife in the kidneys, you know what to do. Subscribe. Or don't. Just keep your back to the wall.